Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is our third year in a row making a goals related video for the upcoming year. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look back at 2024 goals from last year's video. I'm gonna talk about how I did accomplishing those, and then we're gonna set new goals in that category. Now, most of this video is gonna be primarily personal goals, so nutrition, workouts, things like that. At the end, we'll talk a little bit more business stuff, only because I did kind of touch on that last year. So we're gonna keep it consistent. Let's dive into strength training. So let's set some new goals. I wanna stick to that 3 times a week schedule. I've gotten that really consistent. And what I've been doing, what I want to continue to do is a full body pull, full body push, and a skills day. And my skills day is always like kettlebell stuff. I really do want to get back into pull-ups this year now that my shoulder's feeling better. And kind of a side goal here that I am going to talk a little bit more about specifically in a mobility video that I have coming out, I think in a week from this one. I want to get more consistent implementing my own mobility routine. So I guess that's what we can kind of like tack on here in terms of an additional goal, since I've really nailed this one from last year. All right, we are off to a strong start. So there were a number of things that I kind of spouted out there. I did stick to 3 times a week for my workouts, which is great. I talked really quickly about kettlebell stuff. I've definitely gotten more into that. We'll put a pin in that for 2025. I made a goal about getting back into my pull-ups. I can now do 4 chin-ups. It's fine. Everyone relax. It's fine. I can do 4 chin-ups in a row. Whenever I post something that's like something pull-ups and then I show a chin-up, people lose their minds. Guys, it's not a big deal. Yes, it's technically the easier exercise, but like it's still you pulling up your entire body weight with your arms. Like, relax. Chin-ups are just easier for people typically because it's going to recruit more muscles. You get to use the biceps. But also personally, I have something that's been going on weird with my right shoulder for a long time, and just that open position doesn't feel good on me. So, but you know what? Even if it did feel good on me, I can still do chin-ups if I want to. So everyone take a chill pill. Okay, and then we talked about building a mobility routine. I definitely not only include more specific mobility work in like my warm-ups and workouts, but I do have just a little daily cars routine that I've been implementing. Let's talk about what we want to do for 2025. So what I actually started doing, I believe in the summer this year, I joined a program from Hunter Krein. He is the founder of KBCU, Kettlebell Coach University, and the reason that I joined it was because I was just like, I really want to start getting better at my kettlebell skills, and oh my gosh, I'm so much better now. Can't even put it into words. But aside from that, it also made me realize how important it is to be learning from other people as I go, even in my workouts. I think I felt this pressure for a while, like, oh, well, because I can program my own workouts, I should. But number one, it's really nice to just like show up and have someone else tell you what to do, even if it's like through an app. And number two, it's just simply another opportunity to continue my education and continue learning from people who know so much more than me, and quite honestly, like a leader in the industry. So right now I'm in the middle of Vlogmas, so I've taken a break from the program, but for 2025, I am getting right back on that program. So let's set a specific goal. My goal is to work out 3 times a week through the Savage Athlete program. Simple. I already have a great system in place of how I actually schedule my workouts and make sure that they fit in my current routine. I talked about the system that I have in place for my workouts in a video all about motivation. So if you want to see a little bit more behind the scenes there, you can look at that. And honestly, the only other like workout or strength related goal that I have is that I do want to be taking 1 group fitness class a month. I can do more than that, but I have to hit that minimum. Again, I'm very much in this growth mindset, and I really just want to make sure that I'm learning from other people. There's so many great resources in the city, and I just feel like I haven't been taking advantage of them since COVID. So I'd like to really get back to that. In terms of new goals for 2024, I want to keep it at the 70K a week or 10,000 on average a day, however you want to look at it. Fitbit actually makes it really easy now to like look at your yearly average. So I want to see if I actually hit it. I'm going to guess I probably averaged like 8,000 steps a day. It is just still really hard working from home. I'd like to try for 10,000 steps on average a day again this year. I'm not going to be upset if I don't hit it. For me, honestly, as long as I'm in that 7,000 to 8,000 range daily, I'm going to be happy, because those are the numbers that have shown through many different studies that your risk of chronic illness plummets. Okay, I was pretty spot on. About 8,000 steps a day on average for the year. Well, did not hit 10,000 steps a day again this year. I mean, it's the beginning of December, but we're at just about 8,000. A few things here. I definitely found myself wearing my Fitbit less this year. Not to make excuses like, well, I forgot to put it on a lot of days, but like I actually have been forgetting to put it on a lot. I also was way less intentional about like trying to get my steps in. I did take on a number of additional in-person clients, which definitely just kind of like got me to that 8,000 steps a day on average baseline. So I didn't really, I'm going to be so honest, I didn't try with my steps at all. I just let it kind of happen and I was like, we seem like we're pretty good. And for me, I feel good at that number. So we're gonna just finally say, hey, as long as I'm hitting 8,000 steps on average a day, I'm good. We might end up going over that this year, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I was gonna run a 5K in March. Oh, that was when I hurt my foot. Right. So I was going to run a 5K in Washington Heights with my friend Matt. And that was when I started having really bad foot pain. I had to go to the physical therapist. That feels like 10 years ago. I actually have run a 5K this year. I ran the one on Thanksgiving. If you didn't watch this video right here, this documents my whole journey to a 5K, personal growth, running journey. It's very dramatic. Like it's a 5K. But for me, that's a lot because I really am not good at running. But I did run the 5K again on Thanksgiving this year with literally zero training, which I don't recommend. But I will say because my running mechanics are a lot better and because I have gone to physical therapy for a few things that were inhibiting my running, my ankles, my hips, my feet. I actually felt really good during and after the run. I just took it really slow and my calves were just a little sore for like 2 days. But can I still recommend running without any training? No. Anyway, all that to say, we're not setting a running goal. We will not be running again until Thanksgiving next year. Well, my goal was don't run again until Thanksgiving this year, and here we are. I just ran a 5K cold, very cold because it was pouring rain. So 2 years ago, I actually went through like the Nike Run Club 5K training app. I really, really, really wanted to like running. And I really, really discovered that I still don't. So that's why I did not run at all this year. But I have realized that over this past year, I have been more consistent with all of these like basic foundational pillars in my health than I've ever been in my entire life. And this is the point now, a year of consistency, building the basics, where I go, I can get a little more advanced. I can have a little more fun with this stuff. We haven't talked too much about advancing anything quite yet, but here's where we're gonna advance things. So in my brain, I was like, I really do wanna like build my aerobic capacity a little bit more. I feel like I've built a really, really solid base with my strength. I've gotten a lot more powerful over the past year since joining Hunter's program. I'm getting a lot better at skill work, but I would love to build my aerobic capacity because I really don't do a lot of cardio now. And I do actually think that I should be able to run a mile or two without having any issues. So I was thinking about it. And for years now, one of my friends and clients, he's been trying to get me to run the Queen's 10K. And I was like, you know what? I think that's a good goal for 2025. Push myself out of my comfort zone. Let's see how much I can build that aerobic base. I think a 10K is my limit. It's like 6 miles. I have never run that far. I've only run 4 ever, like continuous, no stopping. So we'll see. This is a little tricky because now this is a little bit more advanced because this is not something that I really have ever trained for. So here's my general plan. The month of January, I actually just want to start by adding in a little bit more aerobic work, whether that's incline walks, whether that's interval training, whether that's, some light running, whatever it is. But I want to build that aerobic base a little bit more for a month. Then probably in February, I was originally going to be like, oh yeah, the Nike Run Club has a 10K training app. I can just dive into that. And I previewed it and like day 1 was like run 5 miles. And I was like, oh, we're going to come back to you. So in February, I'm going to go through the 5K training program again. And then I think that's 8 weeks. So then when that's done, I'll do the 10K training program. And then the Queen's 10K is typically in July. So I'll be all trained up for that. I know exactly what's going to happen here. I'm going to build my aerobic base. I'm going to have this push and pull of I want to be a runner. I want to like it, but I really don't because mentally, is really hard. And I'm not going to run again until Thanksgiving. And then I'm going to take a whole year and run just cold on Thanksgiving again. I know this is the cycle. It's fine. But I think long term, I would love to incorporate, running a mile once or twice a week into my programming. I think a nice goal for me would be to be able to just like run the 5K on Thanksgiving, not not cold, like having run a little bit here and there throughout the year. So that's long-term goal. Short-term goal and how we're getting there, Queen's 10K in July. 90% of the time, I prioritize balanced meals. What that means to me is like protein, carb, fat, color on the plate. I've definitely improved on eating breakfast. A lot of that has been because I've been meal prepping on the weekends. I do a whole little series on Instagram about like meal prep Mondays, and it's really just like ASMR, me going through and making the easiest dishes ever. But I have found that just by having things on hand that in the moment I would probably talk myself out of actually making, having those things pre-made have been an absolute game changer. Seems like we nailed nutrition. I feel really good about my nutrition right now. We have a great system in place for ordering groceries, meal prepping, making dinners together. And I would say this is the most secure I have felt in my nutrition ever. So we're gonna progress this goal a little bit, baby. This is the stuff I talk about all the time. I'm like, you haven't earned advanced options until you nail the basics, and I am included in that. So here's what we're gonna do. First, probably 2 weeks in January, I am going to track my protein, my fiber, and my overall calorie intake. Take a breath. The only reason I'm doing that is because I haven't tracked those things in a really long time, especially since I've kind of gotten my nutrition on point. And I just want to make sure that I'm hitting what I need to be hitting. I'm not going to share what those numbers are. I actually can't even remember what they are at the moment. But fiber, that's like a general goal for everybody. For women, you want to be hitting around 25 to 30 grams a day, I believe it is. So I just want to take 2 weeks of data, make sure that I'm on point with that. And if not, adjust from there. And then I'm just going to keep eyeballing things and paying attention to my hunger cues. One of the reasons that I do want to do this is because sometimes I do notice I'm like really, really hungry at night, and that's not super normal for me. So I do just want to make sure that I'm eating enough throughout the day. And if I am, where can I tweak things so I'm not experiencing that hunger? All right, so those are the goals related to last year's video. Let's talk a few like fun things in here. This is a little more business related for the most part. I should put this in a better place. It's just like sheets of paper. So what I like to do every year is pick a word or a verb that kind of like resonates across the board with everything that I'm trying to accomplish. Last year, that word was grow. So growing my habits, growing my business, growing my knowledge as a coach. And honestly, this was a really good year for me, like across the board. I'm really proud of myself. I'm in a really, really good place. Next year's goal: refine. So in terms of like personal health goals, you saw I have the basis. Now I'm refining things and like just tweaking things along the way. Oh my God, something else that I totally forgot about. Do you remember? I feel like it was 2 years ago. I set a flossing goal. I was like not flossing ever, but I've been so good with my flossing, like nearly every single day. Part of that is because I finally found like a dental service in New York. I go to Wally. I talked all about them in a recent video and like dental health in general. Absolutely love their services. It's $250 for the whole year for like unlimited cleanings and whitenings and oral exams. But I think my code gets you even less. I think it's like $200 for the whole year with my code. This obviously isn't sponsored because I pulled this out of my ass. But anyway, if you're in New York City, cannot recommend enough, because I know that dental insurance is like very hard to come by and covers like nothing. Oh, and then if you do need like a cavity filled or something like that, they refer you out to a team of dentists that can get you like 40 or 50% discount. So it is cheaper than just like walking into a dentist's office and being like, hey, I need my cavity filled. Anyway, let's talk a few business things. So I have a ton of content in the Fit Club, and my goal for this upcoming year is to take the programs that I have, because I think I have like 14 programs in there, and refine them or just perfect them. Make sure that they're like, the filming is great, the content or the programming is really solid. So I've already been kind of slowly going back and doing that. Here's a little sneak preview of like what to expect for the next year. I also decided that I don't need to be putting out a program every month, right? Like I can just refine the ones that I have. And so I'm going to be doing 3 new programs a year, and they're going to be a little longer, either like 8 or 12 weeks. So I'm excited about that. I have a lot of like nitty gritty stuff that I want to do just to like help refine business stuff. Let's chat numbers. We're not going to talk numbers for the Fit Club because I like to keep that private, but let's talk about social media. So last year I started on YouTube with 46,000. My goal was to hit 75,000, and I'm sitting at 64,000. So I'm like about 10K short. That's still some nice growth there. Hi to like 20,000 more of you. But we're gonna aim for the stars, and we're gonna try and hit 100,000 by the end of next year. And then I get my little plaque. So we'll see. Last year I started Instagram with 8,000. My goal was 12,000. I just hit 10. I'm honestly fine with that. Let's see if we can hit 15 by the end of the year. I don't really care about growing Instagram too much. That's like my place where I can just still like, I don't know, put up pictures of my cat. I guess I can do that here too. And then I wrote, fuck TikTok, LOL. I don't understand TikTok. I don't post on it enough to really care. The only other thing that was like a really big continuing education goal for me was to at least start the process of studying for CSCS, Certified Strength and Conditioning Coach, and see my little textbook. We started. I'm hoping to do my exam in February. We'll see like where everything lines up. But I definitely gave myself a solid months to study for this. It's a lot of information, but I'm very excited. We'll talk about that in another video. So those are my goals. Honestly, nothing like too revolutionary. Maybe just the 10K, which I realize now that I'm saying it out loud, I have to do it. But if you guys have any specific fitness or nutrition goals, I would love to hear about them down in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and I will see you all in the next one.